So let's begin. This is Karen and TK, and today we are going to be talking about how to lose 10 pounds without starving, sweating, or suffering. Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That's the way to lose weight, let me tell you. So before we get started, I'm just going to give a quick rundown on just the agenda and how all this information is going to flow. And first we'll talk a little bit about why we're doing this. We're going to spend some time explaining why diets don't work and why we all seem to be stuck in this diet trap and can't get out of it. We're going to cover the 3 biggest weight loss myths that are out there, which will be a huge help to you, I'm sure. We're also going to share our secret strategy for losing weight, not only losing weight, but actually keeping it off. Then we're going to get into 10 very specific strategies that will help you lose 10 pounds, and not only lose 10 pounds, not only keep off the 10 pounds, but also just kind of continue to getting your body to its ideal body composition, because that's really what all of us are looking for long term. Then we're going to share a really cool program that we have that can help you get there, and we'll be answering any questions that you have as we go along the way. Sound good? So let's dive in. First, I'm going to have TK share with you his story because it really is a nice setup to just why we're doing this and where we're going to take you through this presentation.
Yeah, so this is a long story, so I'll try to make it as
We're
short
going
as
to make him
possible.
tell a short version of a long story.
So to make a long story short, I mean, I was just a regular guy, met a girl, got married, started to raise a family, get a career, and you know what happens when you hit your 30s, you start to put on a few extra pounds, and of course that's me over there on the left, in my early 30s, I guess, somewhere around there. I think I hit my max at 235, and that was pretty heavy for me. And it just kind of snuck up on me over a period of time. It just didn't happen overnight, and just a pound here and a pound there, and before I knew it, I was 235 pounds, and I just wasn't healthy. I didn't feel good. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. Obviously overweight, had high blood pressure, thinning hair, graying hair, and heart palpitations. I just wasn't the picture of health, and I just wasn't happy with myself. So I made a commitment to myself in my early 30s. I said by the time I was 40, I wanted to be in great shape. So I spent most of my 30s trying all the fad diets, Slim Fast, Atkins, South Beach, you name it. I tried it. Body for Life, and we joined all the different gyms. So we tried it all, and I could lose weight, and then I would put it on, and then I would lose weight on the next one and put it back on. So I spent most of the 30s going through this process, and come my 39th birthday, I said, okay, I gotta get serious. It's only a year away, and I gotta, I just committed to this 40 thing, and so I got serious that year and really hit it really hard. For about first, 10 months of that year, I did everything I could. I ate as best I could. I exercised all the time. And I actually got pretty close to my goal. I think I was at about 193 at that point, but I still wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. I thought I was making pretty good progress. And the funny thing is there was this fitness studio opening up down by very close to my house, and this was about 60 days before my 40th birthday. So I called them up even before they were open and said, hey, listen, here's a situation. I promised myself by the time I turned 40 that I want to be in good shape, and I think I'm almost there, but I just need a little help. And I remember this very specifically. I went down there and I thought he's just going to have me do a couple push-ups and some sit-ups and we'd be good to go. But he took my measurements, which I have never done before, and he said I was considered obese as far as my body fat percentage, which is kind of mind-blowing because I thought I was very close to my goal, but I was actually farther off than I thought. So that was an eye-opening experience. But long story short, he worked with me for that 60 days and I got closer to my goal. I felt good about it on my 40th birthday, and I continued working with them for the next 3 years following. And what I found is I got to my ideal body weight, but I found that I was having to work out about 8 times per week just to maintain that 165 range. And I thought to myself, that can't be right.
That was a pretty crazy period of time in our life too, because that's pretty much all we did. Like between working and taking care of our family and all that stuff, then we were at the gym.
Yeah.
Always at the gym.
And so I knew my knees couldn't handle that much working out, and my body couldn't handle it. Plus, there's a lot of time to put in every week, so I knew there's just something wasn't right. And that's when we kind of started, kind of by accident, experimenting with our food and realizing that food maybe played a more important role than we thought. And then, actually, long story short, we met with nutritionists, got more information, got excited about it, saw some great results. Our exercise program went from 8 times a week just to 3 times a week, 45 minutes. I got certified as a nutritionist, started helping clients do the same thing, and that's kind of how it all started.
It's a huge snowball effect, and from there, TK's transformation led to a complete family transformation at our house. We as a family were very much driven by convenience. I'm sure that you probably relate with that. When it came to food, it was either in a box, it was frozen, it was already prepared, it was takeout, it was just whatever we could get our hands on as quick as possible, chow down. Everybody was eating different things. We were just kind of on the go, and it was just kind of crazy. And I never really, that's just how we grew up. I had never done it much different from that, so I wasn't really that worried about it. But we really had never made that connection between food and our lives. And as we started to improve the quality of our food, as we started to improve how we felt, it had this snowball effect within our family. Pretty soon, we were spending more time together. Pretty soon, the girls were feeling better. They were getting more committed to their health. And how perfect was that they would grow up during their teen years committed to their health. And then just the being able to sit like this at our table every day, and it's something that's become something we all rely on and look forward to. And the girls they have been known to turn down dates to make sure that they're home for dinner because it's something that we all look forward to.
Katie even had some health issues that got cleared up too, right?
Yeah, we had, Katie had been diagnosed several years earlier with discoid lupus, and it's a whole nother story that we'll share on a different day about her health and the transformation. But it's pretty interesting too. She was such a picky, finicky eater and wouldn't eat anything. And here she is today, planning to become a vegan chef. And so she has found a love for food that we never would have even discovered if we hadn't taken the initiative to start taking care of ourselves. Another family member that benefited was Oscar. He always, from the day we got him, he was always licking his feet, and he was itchy and had allergies and all this stuff, and we could never figure it out. We were always buying different kinds of food, different kibbles, different grain-free this and this. It was crazy. But once we started learning more about food and learning what's more natural to a dog's diet, and we started improving his diet, his health improved. And here he is at 11 years old, and he's still, just very lively and puppy-like. When people meet him, they can't believe that he's 11 years old. So it's pretty amazing how when you get your diet lined up with what's naturally right for your body, just magic things start to happen.
Yeah. If you're barking in the background, that's who it is.
Yeah, he's everywhere we go.
So this is our friend Bob, and he's obviously struggling. Losing weight for us, that's the easy part. The keeping it off is the hard part, and that's where I think I've always struggled, and I don't know. I think a lot of people struggle with this. I hear it all the time with my clients. I can lose weight, but then it always tends to come back on plus some.
And it's so frustrating when you're working so hard and you're just like, gosh, Scale, what is the problem? I'm doing everything right, and you're not like, work with me here.
And you're giving up things that you really, you're sacrificing things that you enjoy.
Yeah. So let's dive in and talk about the 3 biggest myths when it comes to weight loss.
Okay, sounds good. So the biggest myth, and it's kind of the first 2, but it's really one, it's the whole exercise more and eat less. I mean, I think we all can relate with this. This is our friend Mary here, and she's trying to figure out this formula, and this is what we've been told for as long as I can remember. I mean, every doctor, trainer, dietitian, monkey's uncle will tell you that if you want to lose weight, all you have to do is eat less and move more. But what if this theory was based on some flawed information and based on past experience? And from Bob, from the last slide, I think he can relate to that maybe there's something else going on here. And what we're discovering is there actually is, and there's a couple reasons for it. One, first of all, it's just a pure math equation. The math really doesn't add up because, like Karen always says, she can go to a workout class.
Put me in a good workout class, and maybe on a really good day, I'll burn 350 to 400 calories. And the reality is, as soon as I leave that workout class, and I could just walk into a Starbucks, and that would be, I could just negate that calorie burn instantly.
And plus add some, probably get like a caramel macchiato.
Exactly.
So that's a lot of work.
The
for
point
a
is,
little benefit.
like if you're trying to work that math equation, like you know how many hours, how much time you have to put into working out to try to stay ahead of that calorie chasing thing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so that's kind of the first problem. The other problem is, well, labels can be not accurate.
And this one really upsets me because I know there's so many of us that are like really, really trying, people are out there trying to count their calories, and then they're looking at the label and they're assuming that what's on the label is accurate. And it can be as much as 20% off. And that can have very real effects on the scale at the same time. So again, that's why you can't really play that game.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to count calories and cut it very close. 20% that's a big margin to be dealing with. And if you remember back on my picture from the couple slides ago when I was on the beach, that was me 70 pounds overweight. And over a 10-year period, it took an extra 60 calories per day for me to gain 70 pounds in a 10-year period. So 60 calories is...
that's like, TK's Mr. Mathematician, so he can do that math really fast. The 70 pounds in 10 years is 7 pounds a year of weight gain. And if you calculate that back, it really equates to an extra 60 calories a day in order to put on that 70 pounds. And 60 calories a day, I mean, come on, that's like nothing. And that certainly could be just a mislabel kind of thing,
Yeah.
So it's a tiny, tiny little discrepancy. So.
Yeah, so you're working really hard for a small amount of calorie burn. You have big, huge drinks, Starbucks, and different things that have a huge amount of calories, and you're working with labels that could be off as much as 20%. So you can see how there could be some challenges with the math type philosophy. Now, the other part of this equation is that not all calories are created equal, and what I mean by that is our body actually processes different calories differently. So I can promise you our body is going to manage a cupcake much different than it handles a broccoli. What's going to happen with that cupcake and the sugar? It's actually altering your biochemistry, and what that's doing is forcing you unconsciously to consume more calories over a period of time, not specifically from the calories. It's not the calories from that cupcake, it's the long-term effect of those calories on your hormones, your biochemistry, and what it drives you to do over a period of time. So, that's really something that, is not included in this formula here.
I think we're all starting to realize that out in the world too, because we're really like, hello, I've got my calories down to 1,200 calories a day, or some crazy thing that, that someone will be out doing, and at the same time not losing weight. So it's like, what's up with that, So
this first little theory or myth is exercise more and eat less is based on the first law of thermodynamics, and that would be great if you were working inside a vacuum where you didn't have hormones and things and stresses and other things going on in our bodies. It was just in a vacuum. If we were just an empty vessel, you put them and take them out, then that might work. But there's so many other things going on in our body that this approach is not exactly accurate. So,
and especially now that our calories are made up of so many different things and all the different chemicals and things that we've introduced into our diet and into our food, that our bodies just don't really even know what to do with. So and like the body fat thermostat, talk about that. So
what Karen is talking about, this is one of my theories, is a different way to think about this, is our bodies have this body fat, what I call a body fat thermostat. It's like a level where your body seems to be happy at. So for me right now, it's 165, and so I can eat, what I want, and I can, make my weight go up, and it'll push back down to 165, or I can, diet, and it'll go below 165, but it'll push back up. And so this is where my body set point is, and it's kind of like, when you have a set point, this is where your body wants to be. So if you think of it as a thermostat in your house, say it's set to 100 degrees, and you say, it's too hot in here, I want it to cool it down to 70. And so going on a diet and exercising would be like opening all your doors and windows to your house to get the hot air out. That's kind of a temporary solution. As soon as you close your doors up, it's going to start heating back up to 100 because your furnace is always working to keep your house at 100 degrees. Now, if you go down and turn your thermostat down, then your body weight will go, or I'm sorry, the temperature in your house will go down to 70 and it'll shut off and everything will be good. So that's kind of how you need to think about this.
Yeah, when it comes to your diet and everything that you're doing, your real goal is to reset that body set point. It's not just about getting your weight down to a certain place. You want to get to that place where your body's happy and will stay there, and will continually gravitate back to that weight.
Yeah, and the cool thing about, we're going to tell you all the steps that you need to take to reset your thermostat. We're going to do some steps here pretty soon, but let's talk about the next.
So one more myth. It's just that we have to suffer.
Yeah, so this is probably the biggest roadblock for me. It was for me, and I think it's for a lot of people. And I notice this when I start working with people, is when they think about losing weight, or they think about a program, or they think about going on a diet, or think about exercise, the biggest thing is, I have to give up the things I love. I have to give up my pizza, I have to give up my beer and wine, or my cookies, or my ice cream, or whatever it is. And that's kind of the biggest challenge, because we all have certain foods that we love, and one of the biggest things or fears is that we're going to have to give that up. And it's not exactly the case. It's we still eat all the things that I still eat all the things I used to eat. They might be in different versions and they might be in different quantities, but I still enjoy all the things I used to enjoy. They're just different. So it's it's kind of a myth that you have to give stuff up.
And also it's a myth that you have to, well, again, this kind of goes back to the eating less thing, but that you have to suffer and count everything and figure things out and just make yourself miserable with it, because what has happened at our house as through this transformation is now, like, we all enjoy food. Like, we love food and we celebrate food and we have fun with food, and we eat a lot of food at our house, and it's so it's become this whole different thing. We went through all those years while TK was up and down on different diets. You can eat this, you can't eat that, we got to eat that, it just went on. And to be at this place now where we can, all four of us, enjoy eating a huge plate of amazing, wonderful food. I know that if people knew that's what was really going on in our house, that, anyone would just love coming and hanging out with us and eating what we're eating, because it's just so good.
Yeah, so. It's funny, like what Karen said, as soon as you get your chemistry back in order, you can really eat as much as you want. If you're eating the right things, that just balances out your chemistry, and the weight will fall into line. And it's funny, one of the tricks I used to use when I was trying to diet is I moved us from the dinner plates to the salad plates so we couldn't fit as much food on there. And I just had to switch that, the last few years, because we're eating so much food, it didn't just fit on the little plates anymore. So we went back to the huge plates, and they're heaping over with, salads and all sorts of great tasting food. And Karen always comments when I put her dinner plates, like, this is huge.
Most people would not believe how much food I consume in a day. And so it's really one of the big myths, is that we have to suffer and be miserable, and eat things that we don't want to eat, because that's not it at all. So.
Yeah, I had a client that went home for the holidays a few months back, and everyone asked her, how did you lost a lot of weight, what happened, what did you do? And she was trying to explain it to him, and she couldn't explain what she did. She said, I don't know, I'm just eating what I eat, and I enjoy it, and I'm not hungry, and I eat until I'm full. And she couldn't put her finger on what changes she had made, because they were just slowly over time, and it changed her chemistry, and she didn't have cravings of things she once did, and she just ate differently. And it was just a slow process that happened for her. And it's just, once you understand the chemistry of your body, how to work with your body and change that, then things start to get easy. You don't have to suffer.
Yeah,
and that's the key.
And so just the whole eat more or eat less and exercise more and suffering, that's where the starving, sweating, and we're going to go to a whole new formula, okay? So let's talk about our secret strategy. Well, before we do that, let's talk about this theory, which is just simply that it doesn't add up. And I think we've covered that pretty well.
Yep, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3.
So, secret sauce, what is it?
So it's funny.
Kind of comes back to that client you were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of want a magic bullet, the secret pill, a certain diet. I mean, everyone wants the easy way, and I don't think there is a secret sauce. Everyone's different. Everyone has different body types. Everyone has different lifestyle, jobs, relationships, stresses. I mean, we have different, genes, and we have different history. So it's very hard to come up with one diet that works for everybody, and that's why I think we have,
And I think that really is the secret sauce. It's learning what is best for your body. That's the secret sauce. That's not about following this diet or that diet or counting these calories or working out this many times. It's none of that. It's about learning how your body works, when it's performing at its best, what makes it work even better, and just finding yourself in that magic place.
Yeah, I think I searched on Amazon one time. I think there's over 70,000 different diet books, and I guess that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of different types of people, and that's the other reason why we get different types of conflicting information if you go online or read the news.
Yeah, that kind of stuff just drives me nuts. Like one day they'll say, oh, use olive oil. The next day, don't use olive oil. Oh, drink coffee. Don't drink coffee. Oh, have red wine. Oh, don't have red wine. It's like you could go nuts trying to keep up on all that stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, studies are done on groups of people, and all those people are different. So, that doesn't mean it's right for you. So it's really, a lot less about following a specific diet or a magic bullet or a secret potion. It's about figuring out your body, what your body responds to, and there's just some basic rules that we're going to go over and share with you. And once you understand these rules and the basics of how they affect your body, then you can apply that to your body and your lifestyle, and get some the results that you're looking for. So
let's dive into those. We're going to cover 10 very specific strategies, and when you hear these, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, come on, that's like too ridiculously simple. That's like, you're gonna, yeah. But the point is, it is simple, but it's hard. And so we're gonna break down each of these just one at a time quickly. But these really are the secret sauce. If you can just do these 10 things, you will be amazed at what happens to your body as it starts to heal itself and as it starts to perform the way that it was meant to perform.
Yeah, Karen's absolutely right. It's like people will say, oh, it's too simple to work, so they'll discount it. And the problem is that, I've done a lot of research on all sorts of the top killers: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, and all those diseases and things. It gets very complicated when you get down deep. But the funny thing is what I've learned is there's a common thread across all those kind of chronic diseases that are plaguing our society, and it comes down to food, and it gets very, kind of gets complicated for a while, but then at the end of the day, it comes back to some very simple, basic things, and it, really comes back to these 10 things. It really comes back to, more eating whole foods, but we'll break that down further.
Yeah. So let's dive into those. So the first one we're going to talk about is sugar.
So we touched on this a little bit, and this is an important one, so I'm going to spend a few extra seconds on it. So all I want you to do is grab a piece of paper and a pen, write sugar, and go ahead and underline that, circle it, draw stars around it, and arrows pointing all the way to it. This is probably, the number one thing that's, if you take away one thing from this whole little webinar, this is what I want you to take away.
Just do this one thing, you'll be amazed at what changes you have in your body.
It's not just empty calories. There's so much more to sugar, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, I gotta reduce sugar," blah blah blah. But science is showing that this is kind of a problem for us. And so, in 2009, the American Heart Association released not to exceed numbers for sugar, and that's for heart disease reasons. So, basically, what they're saying is, if you don't want to avoid heart disease, you need to, not let your added sugars exceed 26 grams for, I think it's 26 grams for women, 32 grams for men, somewhere around that neighborhood. But let me step back and give you a little bit of explanation of what added sugar is. So added sugar is, anything sugar that's added to a product. So like a cookie has white sugar in it, bread has sugar in it. So we're not talking about natural sugars here, like in a piece of fruit. This is added sugar. And sugar molecule is made up of glucose and fructose. These are two It's half of each. And glucose is used by every cell in our body and is our energy for life, so it's super important. Fructose is only processed by the liver, and this is kind of where the rub comes in as far as why the American Heart Association released these numbers, is because high concentrations of fructose on the liver causes all sorts of raises our bad cholesterol, lowers our good cholesterol, and causes all sorts of signaling problems to our brain cells when we're full. And so this is kind of what we talked about early on when we talked about our biochemistry being off, and these are part of the reason why that's happening, is because
and now that sugar is in pretty much any product, any processed product that you would pick up has some sugar in it, and a little bit here and a little bit there, it adds up really, really fast, and it's no wonder that we're having, all these kinds of chronic diseases.
Yeah, if you look over how much sugars and stuff now, it's pretty much ubiquitous in all our food, in our food system, and it's pretty much in everything. If you pick up any packaged food, like Karen said, you'll see it in there, and there's a reason for that. Is sugar. Another thing science has shown is sugar is addicted to the brain, and so it's a legal addictive substance that food companies have every right to put into their food, and what that does is makes the food taste good, and it makes you want to buy more of it. And so that's a good business model for anyone in business. If you can have a product that people eat that you can put a legal addictive substance into it, who wouldn't do that? But the problem is it's 2 or 3 grams in your bread, it's 6 or 7 grams in your yogurt, it's 26 grams in the glass of Coke or whatever, and it's your cookie, and it's your little things here and there. At the end of the day, that adds up to be way more than what the American Heart Association recommends as not to exceed numbers. So that's kind of
it's one of the easiest, simplest things that you can shift and change in your diet. Just start paying attention to your labels and look at how much sugar's in there and buy a product that has less sugar in it. Just that one little change alone is going to have an impact on your health.
So let's talk specifically about how this affects weight loss. And we don't like counting calories. We don't like counting protein, or we don't like counting carbohydrates.
We don't like counting anything.
The only thing we do want to count
okay.
is sugar, and it's easy. It's we don't want any.
Yeah.
So
it makes it really easy, just 0.
Yeah. So bottom line is, if you want to lose weight, you need to get obviously the first goal is to get your total added sugars below the American Heart Association numbers, just because we don't want you to have a heart attack. If you actually want to lose weight, then you're going to have to go to the next step further. You want your added sugar to be somewhere between the 26 grams that the American Heart Association recommends to somewhere below, to closer to 0 grams of added sugar. And this is added sugar. This is not your fruits and vegetables and things like that. That's a different topic. We're purely talking the added sugar. You pick up a package, it says so many grams of sugar. Look at the ingredients, you see, oh, it's sugar, oh, it's high fructose corn syrup. That's what you want to watch out for. So your goal for this, number 1, is to reduce your added sugars somewhere between 0 and basically 26 grams, but as close to 0 as possible, and you'll see huge benefits. I have had, I had lots of examples of clients that we made this one change, and they see huge results. I've had some runners, some athletes that they're already pretty lean. They're like 12% body fat, and they wanted to go leaner. And all we did was we looked at their total sugars, which actually includes fruit, and we just rinsed that down a little bit, and we got their body fat down within like a week. And the reason that works is because sugar in the system stimulates the release of insulin, which is the fat storage hormone. So at the end of the day, the more insulin you have, the more fat storage that's going to be going on in your body. So that's the story with sugar. So bottom line, try to get that added sugar first step down as close as you can to 0, and you'll be in great shape.
And then you won't have to count things anymore, which is really awesome.
And then one more thing on that, and ultimately, at the end of the day, where I take my clients is, if you get your total sugars down below or somewhere around 30 grams or less, you'll be in great shape, and that includes your vegetables and your fruits and all that stuff.
So next, let's talk about whole foods, strategy number 2.
Whole foods, and this is, again, gets complicated, but it gets very simple, and this is actually some chart I got at my farmer's market. I love when my food has holes in it, because I know another creature is doesn't die when he eats it. So that's a good
That's a good sign that it's
good
safe.
sign. So
Have you ever just wondered when you go in the grocery store and all that stuff is like so picture perfect and there's not a dent in any of it? It's a little creepy in some ways. So it's the kind of stuff you have to start questioning. But
So the bottom line, Whole Foods is very simple. It's just avoid the processed foods, avoid the prepared foods, avoid the foods with flours, flour in it. Anything that's been processed, basically. White flour is, your wheat grinded down. They take away the germ and all the good benefits of it and leave this white powdery substance, which at the end of the day turns into sugar very quickly in your system, spikes insulin. Again, fat is stored. And so the closer your food is to the form it was found in nature, the safer it is for you to eat. And even oils. Olive oil is probably very highly processed and it's very calorically dense. So you need to watch out with your oil consumption. So really, the bottom line, stay away from anything in a box or anything that comes through the window of your car. That's probably a good sign too.
and if it has a label, make sure you recognize everything that's listed on the label as a whole food, as something that you would be able to have in your kitchen. So
Exactly. So if
it's a great rule to live by.
your package has blue dye number 6 and you don't have blue dye number 6 in your spice rack, then you better rethink that. So Whole Food.
Number 3. This is a simple little strategy. It's this no eating after dinner. Why does that work?
Yeah, so this is our friend Jane here, and she's obviously on the paleo diet. And this is just a trick that we use in our house early on, and there's actually some specific reasons for this. It's naturally our natural metabolism peaks between 12 and 1 in the afternoon, and it trends down at night. So when you're sitting on your couch watching American Idol, you're not burning. You don't need all those calories. And the typical American diet, and this is how we used to eat. I used to have kind of a very small sugary type of breakfast, like a yogurt or something, or banana, and a cup of coffee. And I have a bigger lunch, and then I have a huge dinner followed by dessert. And my body, that's exactly the opposite of what my body needs. The energy balance of my body, I needed it more, in the morning. And at nighttime, we wanted to kind of, trim that down as you go to bed. And so it's, the trick is, you don't want to eat 3 hours basically before bed because your body is slowing down. And if you eat, you're going to get hungry. If you have dinner at 5 or 6, by 9 or 10, you're going to get hungry again. If you feed yourself, it's going to be another 3 hours before your body goes through that food. At night, your body does repairing and all sorts of great things, and it actually runs off your stored body fat, which is what you want. So if you feed it right before bed, it's going to be running off what you just ate rather than using the energy you have stored up. So that's the bottom line with eating after dinner. There's a couple actually really good studies that were out. They took 2 groups of people and they just had them eat the same amount of calories, did the same amount of exercise, and the only difference is they loaded the calories in the first part of the day, in the second group in the second part of the day, everything the same. And what they found is the people that ate their calories in the morning or first part of the day lost or maintained weight, and everybody that ate their calories at the end of the day kind of gained weight. And
that's one of the things these sumo wrestlers use meal timing to. That's how they are able to put on that kind of weight. Is they get up in the middle of the night and they feed themselves at all these, during that latter part of the day and throughout the middle of the night in order to be able to beef up like that.
Yeah, so they know the science of it.
This next one is also tied into that meal timing. It's just about having 3 meals and 2 snacks. Tell me a little bit more about that, TK.
Yeah, so this is, this is ultimately just eating 5 times a day, and this is not having 5 sit-down candlelight meals. It's just basically the theory behind this is just so you don't get overly hungry going into any meal. And, there's lots of theories. Some people say you need 3 meals to burn off the energy, and some people say you need 3 meals and snacks. Like when I go to my grandma's house, she used to eat what she called 3 squares a day, and that worked fine for her and my and them in that time because there was no snacks in her house. She had when I went there for the summer, we had breakfast, we had lunch, we had dinner. There's no chips or anything to snack on between meals. And so in that scenario, that worked great. In our society, there's food everywhere. You go get gas, and there's a plethora of food. You go get a cup of coffee, and there's just food everywhere. So I think in today's society, I think it makes sense to make sure you have a constant flow of energy and you're not tempted by any of the crazy things that we have in our environment.
And I also think it's really about just getting your body set up on a rhythm, and just because there's a lot of, our bodies don't really trust us when we've been doing these crazy diets, and we eat one day a whole bunch of really great food, and then the next day we eat just a bunch of CRAP, and we just, just so if you can get yourself into a cycle where you're eating 3 regular meals and you're getting those 2 snacks, and just get your body used to that, then all of a sudden it knows when food's coming. It knows, and it'll start burning and using that food that you're putting in there.
Another important thing that's not on this PowerPoint, but breakfast is super important. It's probably the most important meal of the day. You need a strong breakfast. And I read food logs every day, and I've seen this over and over again. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you don't have the right breakfast, it's going to cause you problems for the rest of the day. I've seen this time and time again. Once I get the right breakfast for the person, all the cravings and everything else just falls. It's all very manageable throughout the day. But if they skip breakfast or something, they didn't have something, or they had to go out for a meeting, I can see it in their food log. Their day just falls apart, and they just didn't start their day out with the breakfast that's right for their body. So that's super important to.
I think the sumo wrestlers skip breakfast. That's one of their strategies.
Yeah. So you should do opposite of what Sumo Joe does.
The next one is green smoothies.
Yeah, so if there is a secret sauce, I would say that this is the closest thing that we have found. There's so many benefits to this, and I've seen this play out in real life with many of my clients. So obviously this is a green smoothie. It has all those great, vegetables in there, and it actually tastes good. But the benefit...
And it's so hard, you're supposed to get all these, 5 to 9 servings or whatever's of vegetables, and it's so hard to do. And this is just a great way to sneak in all kinds of really great stuff into your body without it hardly noticing.
Yeah, and everyone likes smoothies, and we make these so they actually taste really good. And the benefit of it is your body's getting flooded with all these nutrients, which is probably missing. So that's going to help boost your energy right away. That's what everyone says as soon as they start drinking these within the first week. So their energy goes up, their cravings go down, and their body is just absorbing all these great nutrients, which this is all it's been asking for the whole time. And so now it's getting that. The second beauty about the green smoothies, it's a natural detoxification. It helps your body detox. If the parsley there, this is a natural detox. There's a lot, and just greens in general, there's a ton of fiber in there that helps your body flush out all the toxins that it's putting in the system. And it's kind of expecting that. When we were roaming the earth, Karen loves that phrase, before there was the fast food and the grocery store and processed foods, we were consuming over 100 grams of fiber per day. Today in America, the average American gets somewhere between 10 and 15 grams. I think the recommended amount is somewhere between 25 and 30-ish, 35 range. You probably want to get it, ideally if you want to be healthy and lose weight and all that stuff, I would recommend getting over 50, somewhere, as much as you can. You can't get enough fiber.
And again, it comes back to that whole, if you're just constantly detoxing, you're constantly keeping your body, just as soon as something comes in, it's getting flushed right back out, and it's just creating this really nice environment inside your system.
Yeah. So this is just part of the process, one step.
If you can get 2 of them in a day, awesome. Yeah, so you'll be amazed.
This is a key step in resetting that biochemistry that we talked about earlier. So.
Number 6 is just to eat at home more often. That's a tricky one because we woke up one day and kind of realized that we were eating out 3 to 4 times a week. That was just because after school it was just easier to just swing by and pick up something or stop on the way home. And if you can get yourself just to eat at home more often, that right there will affect the scale.
Yeah, and it's even when you go out and you make good choices, they still restaurants are in business to make money. They're not in business for your health or to make you lean. And so that's a challenge. Like I have a client that the only change I made when I first met with her the first week is I said, you're eating out lunch every day. Can you bring your lunch or eat at home? And so for 1 week, she went home and ate lunch, and she lost like 7 pounds in the first week. And the only change we made is, that lunch change and had her eat food that she knew what was in it. And that's a huge one. And I see this every time. Whenever we go out now, once you're in tune with your body, you can really feel it. Like I can go out and sit there, I can feel the sodium going in my body and just become more in tune. And so if you eat out, it's, a lot, that's going to be a challenge. And the more that you can eat in, the more weight you're going to lose, the faster.
Number 7 is to breathe and chew. What's that all about?
This is really the stress, and I think we definitely underestimate the role that stress plays in our body and in that setting of our body fat thermostat, if you will. Stress plays a role in our society. With 2 working parents, we have soccer practice, piano and dance recital and cheer and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all these things. We have a lot of decisions to make, and this puts our bodies under stress. I think I read somewhere that our body goes in stress mode over 50 times a day, which is crazy. And
really what happens when you're in stress mode is your body just kind of shuts down, and it gets to where it's not even really registering that food that you're putting. So you could be eating something really great, but if you're completely stressed out, your body may not even be recognizing and absorbing that food.
Exactly. Your digestion shuts down, immune shuts down, your body goes into fight or flight mode where it just it goes in survival mode. And so all the daily functions kind of shut down and all the resources go to this fight or flight type of scenario. So it causes problem if you're under chronic stress, and doesn't even take much. You might not even realize that's happening. So the tip here is to try to manage your stress, obviously. And the quick tip is before you eat any meal, to take 5 deep breaths, 5 seconds in, 2 second hold, 5 seconds out, and this will reset your stress hormones. Do that for 5 times before you eat, because you don't want to sit down and eat a meal under stress, because your body just won't handle that, even handle that food. You can be eating the best food in the world, and if it's not digesting it and processing it, what's the point? So stress
take your time and take those breaths and chew your food and enjoy it.
Yep.
Number 8 is water.
Yeah, most of my clients, whenever I meet with them the first time, they're always dehydrated. It's a challenge to get water in our system because we're just not used to it. There's so many other options out there to drink, and water is not the most glamorous option out there, but it's really good for you and our body needs it.
And sometimes your body's just asking for water, but we confuse that signal and we think that we're hungry.
Yeah, and that's actually super common. A lot of people are just dehydrated because their body knows they can get water from food, so it just says, hey, I'm hungry because I don't have any water. Give me some food, and we mistake that for hunger. So the tip here is obviously get water. Ideally, a good rule of thumb is 8 glasses a day. And another quick tip that I think will really help you to set your day out in the morning, first thing before you have breakfast, is just cut a lemon in half, squeeze it in your glass of water, and start your day before you eat anything with a glass of room temperature lemon water. And that will really kind of wake up your digestive system and get your day started on the right foot.
The next thing is animal protein.
Yeah, so this is our daughter's, Katie's, artwork.
Katie, I think it was about 7th grade that she declared that she was a vegetarian and she was no longer going to eat animals. And so she's our resident full-blown vegetarian at our house. But there really is a lot to learn these days about meat and dairy, and a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, so I think that, bottom line, meat's not the same as it once was today. First of all, our consumption of meat has almost doubled, not quite, but almost doubled since the early 1900s. And our lifestyle has definitely changed. I think we're probably more sedentary than we were back in the 1900s. So we're consuming more, and we have less activity, and we're not doing as much work, physical labor.
And then our meat has changed, and just the way we raise animals and the way that we process meat, all that stuff, the way that we're putting antibiotics into the meat and all this stuff. It's a totally different game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So even if you're eating the same amount of meat, the composition of the fats and things within the meat is different today, and all the additional, like Karen said, all the hormones and things we put in there are causing problems. So this is not saying be vegetarian, because from our experience working with clients and what we researched, there's three types of people. There's a protein people, there's carb people in combination, and it's just finding the right balance for you. I think I have lots of clients, probably about a third of my clients are what I would consider protein people, and they need a certain amount of protein. A lot of times that works out to be animal protein. Sometimes it's once a day, sometimes it's a couple times a week, sometimes it's once a week, and that's all they need. It's a lot less than they think they need, but they do need some. I have some clients that don't need any animal, and they thrive off of that. And so it's just finding out what's right for you and your body type. Same thing with dairy. I mean, when you think of dairy, what comes to mind?
Calcium.
Calcium. That was a pop quiz. She passed. Good
Yay!
thing. So calcium is...
the whole got milk thing has been so drilled into our heads that we're all convinced that milk is where you get calcium, and if you don't have milk, then you're not going to have calcium. Yeah. But that's not really the truth.
Yeah, and there's probably, milk was designed to make a baby calf into a full cow. So if that's your goal, then that's great.
And calcium comes from the earth. It does not come from the cow.
That's exactly right. It's not calcium. It's calcium. Calcium is a mineral. It comes from the earth through the plants. Cows eat it. That's how they get it. Same with us. It's more bioavailable and more absorbable if we get it through plants. And plants are high. Spinach and collards and all these things are high concentrations of calcium, and our body and bones can use that. And actually, there's some studies out there that show that actually the acidity caused by dairy causes the calcium to leach from the bones, and to address that. And so it could be being counterproductive.
And if you're getting the whole foods and you're drinking the green smoothies and all that, chances you should be getting plenty of calcium.
Yeah, but the bottom line, if you do want to do animal product, milk, it's really the hormones that are something that you really want to watch out for, that we'd be concerned about. So make sure you get any dairy product is hormone-free, growth hormones.
Our bottom line on meat and dairy is just always get the best quality that you can get. Make sure it's sourced well. Make sure it doesn't have the hormones, and just pay a little more for those things. It's worth it. So. And our last one is about sleep, and hopefully you're still awake and listening and everything. But sleep is important, and we want you to get plenty of it.
This is our friend Dave, and he obviously looks like he needs some sleep. Looks like he had some late work nights, and sleep does play a role in our body fat and our body fat thermostat. And there's been a couple studies recently that I read that that it does affect our hormones, specifically it creates our cells, it causes our cells to be more insulin resistant, which is a problem. Remember, insulin is the fat storage, and more of that floating around causes problems. So how the studies worked was this: 2 groups of people, one group slept 8 hours, one group slept 4, everything the same. They found a 20% more insulin resistant in the cells of the people that slept 4 hours. So there's 2 different studies, and one was specific. I forget the actual pounds of weight that they gained. This was in a 1-week period. So sleep is super important. It doesn't seem like it, but you'll feel better and you'll be leaner if you get the right amount of sleep for your body.
So, and why does all this stuff work? It works because it's not based on a broken theory. It's getting back to the natural state of, the way our bodies were meant to operate.
Yeah, if you're working off a formula of weight loss of 1 + 1 = 3, the funny thing about that is it's never going to work. That formula is flawed. It's not going to work. And what happens is we do this every year. Come January 1st, right? We go on a diet, we go to the gym. Come February 1st, we give up, and what happens is we blame ourselves because we said, I didn't have enough willpower to stick to the diet or the gym. But the real problem is this right here, what's in front of you, is this formula is not valid for weight loss. Starving your body and
beating it up
and creating more hunger does not equal permanent weight loss. It actually is the opposite. Over time, that's going to bounce back, plus give you more.
So the main thing is just these formulas, by doing these 10 things, you really just start working with your body and getting back to basic core math. Give your body what it needs, and it will take you to your healthiest state. And it will take you to your perfect weight, naturally.
Exactly. All those things are resetting, like we talked about in the beginning. resetting that biochemistry, just have your body start working and functioning properly, because all those steps, every one of them are important and play a specific role in resetting your biochemistry. You need to do all of those to reset that thermostat and get your body functioning. And once it does, everything gets easy. Your cravings go away. You can eat as much as you want. You don't have to count anything and worry about anything. It just all happens so naturally.
You're no longer covering up symptoms. You're actually addressing whatever's driving it in the first place. So.
Yep.
And getting your body to heal itself, which is really the goal. Our bodies, when you think about it, you cut yourself, your body heals itself. And that's what our bodies were designed to do. And all we have to do is give it the right stuff, give it the food, give it the sleep, give it the water, give it the things that it needs, and it will do its part to heal us, even in spite of our crazy environment.
And I've seen some amazing things working with my clients. And as a nutritionist, we can't claim to cure any diseases or anything like that. We can help people eat right and lose weight. But I've seen some amazing side effects of helping people eat right. I have many clients that have gone off, their doctor has taken them off medications. They've gone off, insulin, and just, this happens all the time. Once you start feeding your body the food it's looking for, it starts to heal itself automatically, and you don't need those prescription drugs. And doctor says, what's going on? And they just start taking you off these medications. And again, it's just a side effect, and it's something that we've noticed with some of our clients. I'm not saying that it's going to happen for you, but I'm just saying.
It's worth playing with.
It's not going to hurt to eat right.
So let's just recap those. So if you didn't get a chance to write these down or something, there's just a quick, if you want to grab a pencil or paper or something and jot these down real quick. Watch the sugar, number 1. Eat whole foods. No eating after dinner. Eat 3 meals and 2 snacks. Add 2 green smoothies to your day. Eat at home as much as possible. Breathe and chew, watch your stress levels, think about those things. Drink your water. Cut back on animal protein. And get your sleep. They're just 10 very simple, they seem like really simple strategies, and they are. And at the same time, they are a challenge. And but when you just, it's such a different platform to work from, as opposed to all the diet programs and all the counting and all of the stressing and all the extra stuff that we throw on ourselves. But when you really break it down and to these 10 simple steps, it just gets so much easier. And that's what we really want for you. Healthy, safe, maintainable weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds a week. Anything that's more than that, it becomes hard to maintain. So when we're working with clients one-on-one, that's really our goal, is to help them just consistently lose that 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Yeah, it's more maintainable. You want to jam your thermostat down 10, 20 pounds in a week. Not really. If you're doing that, that's probably not the right approach. And so it's, kind of the more constant approach really gives your body time to reset itself on the way down, so you don't bounce back up.
That's where all that healing kind of takes place in your body, and letting that kind of stuff happen so that it is effortless, and so that you do one day wake up and go, I don't even remember how did I do this exactly. So that is our 10 strategies, and then I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on a program that we have. If you're just somebody that really would like some support, you want somebody to kind of tell you what to do, hold your hand, and check in with you and help keep you motivated and give you really specific strategies and shortcuts and feedback, and just be available to ask questions. That's what we've put together in this program that we offer. It's TK's Total Transformation, and it's an 8-week program to permanent weight loss. Really, it's all kinds of tools, information, support. We break all of these things that we just talked about down into very specific lessons with strategies. I know we gave a lot of information here today, but there's so much more. And once you get into actually trying to apply these things in your life, you come up with so many more questions, and it really opens your eyes to things that that we just don't know. And so that's the purpose of this program, is to break all of these things down into detail and really teach you so that you can get out there and take care of yourself and not have to be duped by all of the food marketing and not have to be confused and not have to be stressed out in the process. So through this program, we really get into, all of those details. And the beauty of it is you can kind of just go at your own pace and do what you need to do for your body so that you can reset that body thermostat that we talked about, and really start to work on some new habits and reprogramming your responses, so that you learn how to keep the weight off, not just to lose it, but to continually move towards that ideal and perfect weight for you. The way that we deliver it is every week in your inbox we send you a lesson. So you'll get 8 weekly lessons, and they are just very simple video audio files. You don't need any kind of special equipment or anything. You can just click play and listen to the lesson, and it's really great because you can do it on the go, or you can do it while you're busy doing something else and just listen in. And then we also have written material that supports and backs up and provides all the details in relation to that lesson. And then weekly on Tuesdays we have a Q&A time that you can dial into. We'll give you a fixed time that you can dial in and ask questions live, so you've got some live access to TK and I to ask those very specific questions. And those calls are recorded so that you can listen to those at a later time when you're not available on a Tuesday.
You can also submit questions if you can't be on the call that we'll answer on the call prior.
And then we will have weekly check-ins for you on Fridays. We have a simple check-in form, and there's just something magic about having to check in. Nobody's holding you to the fire or anything like that. This is just about having that accountability and motivation to keep going. So we have a weekly check-in for you during the program, and then all kinds of really, really great bonus material. This is just the best of the best stuff after years and years of research and all this. We bring some experts to you on different topics. We're bringing all kinds of interesting movies and talks and just all kinds of different material that will really help support you and educate you so that you can continually not have to rely on willpower, where you'll really have this stuff really ingrained inside you. And the ultimate goal, of course, is just to have a new level of energy, just to give you that catalyst so that you get unstuck and motivated and get to just completely try a different approach and make a permanent shift in your relationship with food, and to see that you really, really can get results on the scale without having to starve, without having to sweat, and without having to make yourself miserable in the process. That's what we really want to do, is just help people realize that this is actually fun.
Easy.
And it doesn't cost a lot of time or money. Really, I mean, you don't have to have any additional time at the gym. You don't need to buy prepackaged diet foods and supplements. We're just trying to create a program that's super simple and doesn't add more weight to your day. Excuse the pun. But so here's old cheesy sales guy Vinny, because we want to present the value of what we're providing with this program. So 8 weeks, you're getting the equivalent of 16 different coaching sessions through the weekly calls and the recorded lessons. You're getting weekly support materials and homework. We're giving you recommended meal plans and recipes. You're getting bonus materials and all other kinds of stuff, as well as just the motivation and the support and the accountability. And when you take all these pieces, and if you were to be meeting with us, one of us as nutritionists on a weekly basis, it adds up really fast. And the total value of all these things is $3,450. And that really is how much it costs. And when we're working one-on-one with clients on these very high-level programs, where they're meeting with TK weekly and we're doing all this supplemental stuff with them, it adds up really fast. And so we're really excited to be able to take all of this information, package it into something that's manageable, that people can do over an 8-week period of time, and make it affordable. So we've set the price for the program at $497, which is just a ridiculous fraction of the price, and it is well worth every penny. And the really good news is you don't have to deal with the cheesy sales guy Benny. You get us. And, live access to us. You get to hear the exact same strategy that we're using with our private clients on a really high level. You're getting information-packed lessons, life-changing bonus materials, and you're getting support from people who care and who have been there. We know exactly how you're feeling, and we've worked with so many different people to help them through the process. So just to wrap it up, your coaching sessions, your support materials and homework, your meal plans, your bonus materials, your motivation, support, and accountabilities, and the tools you need to get it all done. And just to make it even more inviting, we've made it so that you can do it in 3 payments. Because for TK and I, it's just really about, we just don't want money to get in the way for people to do something positive for their health. And so we're just trying to make it as affordable, as simple, and as easy as possible. And we would love for you to join us. Together, we're going to spend some time losing weight. We're going to have fun in the process. You're going to feel awesome, and we're going to show you how to make it last. So TK, do you want to jump in with anything else there? Basically what I'm going to do is when you go to this page here is it'll break it down. You'll see exactly what every single one of the lessons includes, what's in there, the timing, and really we just have it all broken there. If you have any questions at all, just shoot us an email to talk about those. But we're just excited to be able to take a high-level program and bring it to you in a way that's manageable, doable, and affordable.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm really excited about this program is because I work with people every day, and it's taken everything I teach my clients over a year and over the 12 months and packaged it into these 8 modules. And really, that's the core of it. I work with people for longer periods of time and help them implement that. But this is really the information. It's all right here. And I'm excited to share this because I can only work with so many people at a time. And this message is important. And this is a way that we can get it out to a few more people rather than just me working with a handful of people each year. So I'm really excited with it. And
so take some time and read through it and let us know what questions you have about it because we'd really love to get you included as we start another round of the program. So we did want to answer a couple of questions. I know we have a few sitting here. Someone had asked us about how much sleep does the average person need?
Yeah, and that's going to be an individual thing. I think it's somewhere around probably between 6 and 8 hours, and some people may even need a little more. But you just need to, when you wake up, you need to feel kind of energized. You can't just be sluggish, and it's just going to be something that you have to play around with and find what's right for you. And so it might mean going to bed a little bit earlier, because I know people have to be at work at a certain time, but just playing around and do what feels right. But the key is you just don't want to get
don't deny yourself some sleep.
Stay up late working, and then you get up and you just run down. That's going to cause problems. It's going to for sure be a challenge if you're trying to lose weight, if you're not getting enough sleep. So probably somewhere between 6 and 8 hours is probably a good target, again, depending on the individual.
And the more you start doing these 10 strategies, you'll find that your sleep will improve. So if you're struggling with that in the beginning, don't give up. The more you get these things all in balance, the more you'll find it's just easier to get a good night's sleep. There's another question here about green smoothies and whether those could be used as a meal or are they treated as a snack?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We use green smoothies as a snack between meals. That's just for us. I do have some clients that are super busy in the morning, so they've done some things like they put their oatmeal in their smoothie and combine their breakfast into their smoothie so they can have it kind of to go, and that's a great way to go. So it really depends on your situation, what you need, but it can go either way. If a lot of times, depending on what you have in your smoothie, they might be more ideal for a snack. And if you want to use it as a meal, I would recommend maybe adding some more of the healthy fats and some different things, and we can help you out with that. But just adding a little bit more just depends on your situation.
And if you're needing some green smoothie recipes or anything, shoot us an email about that too. We're happy to share a couple recipes that we have handy for those. So there's also a question here about, is the program available at your own pace? Which yes, that's exactly why we've done it in this format, is so that you can take it at your own pace. Like sometimes people are traveling for work or there's just things that get in the way. We've made the program so it's super mobile and easy for you to do wherever you're at. But at the same time, if you have a week where you just can't keep up the pace, it's totally fine. You just roll out and do it the following week. So you're going to have access to all the recordings and the full program, even beyond the 8 weeks that we feed it to you. You'll have access to it, and it's something you'll want to continue to reference along the way in your journey. So.
I think a lot of people sign up for the program, the ones that we talk to, for different reasons. Some of them are really wanting to hit it hard and get that done in the 8-week period, and some people just wanted to get the information and go at their own pace, and they had different goals. Some people just wanted to eat better and feel better, and so they weren't even wasn't even a weight loss concern. They were just interested in, I just want to learn how to eat better. I know I should eat more fruits and vegetables and things, but I can't understand why I can't. So
that's what's so great about the program, is it really does, whatever your goal is, whether you're really specifically trying to lose weight or whether you're really just trying to improve your lifestyle and the way and have a better understanding of what is healthy and all of that. So it's really got something for everybody. So
it's not really, I want to spend a few seconds on this because this is a good point. Like, there's a lot of information coming out in the news right now that, generally fast food and how our food, the standard American diet is generally not good for us, and there's health problems related to it. So I think this information's coming out, and you're starting to see more healthier type of restaurants popping up here and there. So I think the word's getting out that, maybe we need to eat a little bit better. But the challenge is, if you go back to what you circled and starred and arrowed to that sugar, pretty much our brains have been hijacked for the last 30 years, and we've been programmed to desire and crave processed foods. And it's part and based on our brain craves sugar, fats, and carbs. And food companies have designed their food to make us addicted for their own reasons, there's nothing wrong with that. But now we have to reprogram and undo that, and so that will be part of the challenge.
Yeah, and we spend a lot of time in the program going beyond just the mechanics of what to eat and really diving into understanding how the habits are driven and how willpower works and all of those kinds of things that go beyond just the food that you put in your mouth. It's a really important part of what makes the program work. Mm-hmm. And then also someone was asking, they're just, what if I am a picky eater and I am afraid of having to give up something that I love? And that's always the challenge. And I think we touched on that a little bit earlier, just about, we're not going to make you take away anything. That's not the point of this program. You're going to learn things. We're going to add some things into your life that you can experiment with, and you can learn what works best for you. So we're going to help you look at the things that you're already doing and learn how to do them better.
One thing I say when I work with my clients one-on-one, I say, you never have to give up something you love, but I don't promise them that they may not want to eat that thing as the process goes on. I think their body, what happens is they find that their body changes and their cravings changes, and what they, in the beginning of the process, thought they could never live without, their body just kind of rejects. And that doesn't happen overnight. It's just kind of a process that happens over time. But the point is, we're so fearful of giving up something that we love, and at the end of the day, part of the process is helping you become more in tune with your body and listening to what your body says. And once you start hearing the real messages your body is sending and what your body really craves, it'll kind of be a different story, and you might not crave that, whatever it is, as much as you thought you did in the beginning of the process.
So if you're interested in diving into all this in a lot more detail and spending some time with us and really becoming a master at all this kind of stuff, I encourage you to go to thekitchenskinny.com/keepitoff page. Check out that page. There's a registration button right there. You can click on it, register, and have the first lesson right now. So we hope you'll join us, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Bye.